Hello and welcome to Mr. Prez Talk Sport. I'm your host Nick, aka Mr. Prez. And first of all, I'm going to talk about a few time slot changes. Wednesdays will now become permanent show and for the preview show. And starting on Sunday, April 18th, I'll be having shows on Sundays, on Sunday nights, Sundays after the footy. Okay, let's get all that out of the way. Now let's talk some footy. First up, rugby league. Right, preview this weekend matches. Right, first game of the round tomorrow night will be between South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Brisbane Broncos at Stadium Australia. Let's look at the two teams. Rabbitohs says at fullback, Latrell Mitchell. On the wings, Alex Johnson and Josh Mansell. The centres, Dane Gagai and Campbell Graham. The halves, Benji Marshall and Adam Reynolds. Lock forward, Cameron Murray. Second rowers, Jacob Hostin, James Sewer. Front row, Tom Burgess, Tabita Totola. And hookers, Damien Cook. On the bench, Dean Hawkins, Mark Nichols, Patrick Mago and Jai Arrow. And the reserves, Harmo Saleh, Jackson Paulo, Troy Dargan, Stephen Masters, coached by Wayne Bennett. Brisbane Broncos lineup at fullback, Jermaine Asako. On the wings, Xavier Coates and David Mead. The centres, Richie Kennar and Tessie New. The halves, Anthony Milford and Tom Dearden. Lock forward, Tabita Pengai Jr. Second row was Alex Glenn and John Ricky. The front row is Matt Lodge and Payne Haas, Jake Turpin at hooker. On the bench, Brody Croft, Tom Flegler, John Asiata and Ben Teo. And the reserves, Ethan Bullimore, Reece Kennedy and Corey Pakes, and coached by Ken Walters. Match officials, referee Ben Cummins, touch judges Casey Badger and Ziggy Przilas. This is the hardest name to pronounce every single week. Ziggy Prziglasa Adamski. And Ashley Klein's in the bunker. And head-to-head records. 42 times they met. Broncos are won 29, South won 12 with the one draw. That's Stadium Australia. South have managed 4-3 in 7 matches. Last 10 encounters, the Broncos have won 7 of the last 10. Biggest win between the two teams. Broncos' biggest ever win over the South Sydney Hampton in 1995. They won 56-6 at Queen Elizabeth II Stadium. South's biggest wins in 2009 when they won 44-12 at Suncorp, and in 2019 when they won 38-6. And last this weekend, Adam Reynolds needs one goal. Adam Reynolds has kicked one goal this weekend for South Sydney to go past 6,800 goals. Okay, next game tomorrow night, which will be at Cinderella Stadium. Friday night at Cinderella Stadium. Warriors and Seagulls. So the Warriors team at fullback, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. On the wings, Dave Fosatua and Kemba Marlow. The centres, Adam Pompey and Marcelo Montoya. The halves, Kane Nickaroon and Sean O'Sullivan. Lock forward, Jazz Devanga. Second row is Eli Katoa and Jack Murchie. Front row, Lisa Armau and Tohu Harris. And Wade Egan and hooker. On the bench, Ben Murdoch, Vasilla, Tom Ale, Kane Evans, Josh Curran. The reserves, Rocco Berry, Paul Turner, Jackson Fry and Taniela Otakolo. Coach Nathan Brown. Seagulls stand, fullback, Dylan Walker. On the wings, Jason Saab and Ruben Garrick. The centres, Brad Parker and Morgan Harper. The halves, Kieran Foran and Daly Cherry-Evans. Lock forward, Jack Roybich. Second row is Jack Kajeski and Josh Schuster. Front row is Tony Elvis second and Martin Safal. Lachlan Croker at hooker. On the bench, Cade Cuss, Toff Sipley, Sean Kepi, Josh Halaye. And reserves, Tabita Funa, Zach Sadler, Christian Tulipalatu, and Ben Trebojevic. Coach Des Hasler. Match officials, referees Chris Butler. Touch judges, Belinda Sharp and Wyatt Raymond. And Matt Noyens in the bunker. Head-to-head. Manly's won 24, Warriors 12. No draws between the two teams. And Cinderella Stadium 1-1. Last team, Manly won 6 of the last 10 against the Warriors. Biggest wins between the two teams. Warriors biggest win over Manly happened in 1999, Brookvale Oval. Warriors won 36-10. Manly's biggest win over the Warriors And in 2008, Manly started the season 0-2 and won in round 3 52-6. And the milestones this weekend, Cameron Marlowe will run for his 100th game. Excuse me. Oh yeah, Panthers and Raiders. Next on excuse me. On Friday night. Panthers there, fullback Stephen Crichton on the wings. Charlie Staines and Brian Toto. Excuse me. Okay. Centers Paul Morosky and Matt Burton. The halves Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary. Lock forward as a second rowers William Kikau and Kirk Capewell. The front rowers mostly Ada and Jason Harris, Fisher Harris, and Mitch Keys hooker. On the bench, Tyrone May, Spencer Lenore, Matt Eisenhuth and Liam Martin. And the reserves, Scott Sorensen, Robert Jennings, Jermaine Hopgood, and Jamin Salmon, Coach Ivan Cleary. Raiders team at fullback, Charles Eagle Clockstad. On the wings, Bailey Simonson and Jordan Rapida. The centres, Jared Croker and Sebastian Chris. The halves, Jack White and George Williams. Lock forward, Joseph Tuppeny. Second rowers, Hudson Young and Elliot Whitehead. On the bench, front rowers, Josh Papali'i and Ryan Sutton. Josh Hodgson at hooker. On the bench, Tom Starling, Saliva Havili, C.S. O'Leary and Ryan James. Reserves, Sam Williams, Semi Valimi, Demaris Louis, and Corey Harunaira. Coach Ricky Stewart. Match officials, referee Jared Sutton. Touch judges Todd Smith, Phil Henderson, and Steve Chitty's in the bunker. Head-to-head between two teams. Panthers 39, Raiders 37 with a 1 draw. At Penrith Stadium, Penrith 20, Raiders 113. Last 10, Penrith won 6 of the last 10 against the Raiders. Biggest wins between two teams. Panthers biggest, one of the two biggest wins over the Raiders came in 1982. They won 42-8 at Penrith Stadium. And 2004, Penrith beat the Raiders 42-8, same scoreline. And Raiders went over the Panthers came in 2008 when they thrashed them at Canberra Stadium 74-12. And then milestones to report on this weekend. Alright, next game we'll preview the Titans and Knights. Knights of injuries. So let's look at the two teams. At fullback, AJ Brimson. On the wings, Philip Sammy and Corey Thompson. And the centres, Brian Kelly and Patrick Herbert. The halves, Tanner Boyd and Jamal Fogarty. Lock forward, Tyron Peachy. Second rowers, Kevin Proctor and David Fafita. Front rowers, Jared Wallace and Tino Fasil Malawi. And Mitch Rain at hooker. On the bench, Mwiki Fodawaker, Samuel Sonne, Jermaine Jafflee and Aaron Clark. And the reserves, Bo Fermel, Herman SCSA, Sam McIntyre and Ash Taylor. Coach of Justin Albrook. Knights team at fullback, Kana Ponga. On the wings, Stafford Toa and Heimel Hunt. The centres, Hinari Tuala and Gurhamit Shibasaki. The halves, Connor Watson and Blake Green. Lock forward, Suato Sue. Second rowers, Tyson Frizzell, Mitch Barnett. Front rowers, David Clemmer and Daniel Saifidi. Jane Bradley hooker. On the bench, Chris Randall, Pasemi Solo, Josh Keane and Brady Jones. And the reserves, Jack Johns, Brandon Musgrove, Simi Sasagi and Garrett Smith. Coach Anna O'Brien. Match officials, referee Ashley Klein. Touch judges Liam Kennedy and Michael Wise. And Steve Chitty in the bunker. Head-to-head between the two teams. Knights are 112, Titans 21 with no draws. At Seabright Super Stadium, Titans are the advantage 6-4. Last 10, Titans have won the last 6 over the last... Have won 6 of the last 10 against the Knights. Biggest wins. Titans' biggest win over the Knights happened twice. 2017, the Titans of the Knights 38-8 at Seabright Super Stadium. And just last year, the same venue, in the last round, the Titans defeated the Knights 36-6. Newcastle's biggest win over the Titans happened in 2019. They won 38-4. AJ Brimson will round for his 50th game this weekend. And if the Knights do get 6 goals this weekend, they'll go past 2,500 goals. Really, well, this is going to be a bit tough for them because it's going to go against the Titans. The next game is the Bulldogs and Storm. Now, this will be a mismatch on paper because the Bulldogs have not scored a point since round 1. Let's have a look at the Bulldogs team at fullback Dan Martinez-Lesniak. On the wings, Nick Kotrick and Tui Katoa. The centres, Will Hopewadi and Corey Allen. The halves, Jack Abrilera and Kyle Flanagan. Lock forward, Josh Jackson. Second rowers, Hannah Millian and Corey Riddell. Front rowers, Luke Thompson, comes in for his first game this year, and Jack Harrington. Sione Katoa at 9. On the bench, Jackson top 9. Renoff for Tony, Dylan Narver and Oviki Ogden. And the reserves, Brandon Wakeham, Chris Smith, Dean Brin, Joe Simpson. Coach of Trent Barrett. Melbourne Storm lineup at fullback, Ryan Pappenhausen. On the wings, George Jennings and Josh Adakar. Centres, Remus Smith and Justin Olam. The halves, Cameron Munster and Jerome Hughes. Lock forward, Nelson Solomona, Felice Kafusi and Kenny Romich. Front rowers, Jesse Romich and Christian Welch. Brand Smith at 9. On the bench, Chris Lewis, Tui Tanakamika, Tom Eisner and Nico Hines. The reserves, Aaron Penne, Dean Iramia, Franco Lee and Harry Grant, coached by Craig Bellamy. Match officials, referees, Chris Sutton. Touch judges, John Stone, Darian Ferner. Excuse me. And Alan Shaw's in the bunker. Last, okay. Head-to-head between the two teams, 21 all. At Stadium Australia, Melbourne advantage 4-1. Last 10 encounters, both teams have shared 5 victories each. Biggest wins, the Bulldogs is win over the Melbourne Storm in 2003. They thrashed them 50-4 at the Sydney Showground. And Storm's biggest win over the Bulldogs, having a 2008 when they beat them 46-0. Okay. No major milestones to report on this weekend. This game. Our next game is the Roosters and the Sharks. That's the SCG. So we'll have a look at the two teams. At fullback, James Tedesco. On the wings, Daniel Tupou and the Mr. Prez NRL Player of the Year leader at the moment, Brett Morris. The centres, Josh Morris and Joseph Manu. The halves, Drew Hutchison and Sam Walker. At lock forwards, Victor Radley. Second rowers, Angus Crichton and Satili Tupanua. The front rowers, Isaac Leo and Sia Takiyaho's taking out the goal kicking duties this year. And free last ticket hooker. On the bench, Benjamin Mashik, Jared Hargreaves, Nat Butcher and Fletcher Baker. And the reserves, Daniel Saluka Fafita, Egan Butcher, Joseph Sawali, Manny Caballo, Coach Trent Robinson. Sharks team at fullback, Will Kennedy. On the wings, Mawini Hirota and Renal Molitalo. The centres, Josh Dugan and Jesse Ramian. The halves, Matt Moore and Chad Townsend. Lock forwards, Tony Rudolph. Second rowers, Teague Wilton and Wade Graham. Front rowers, Brian Hamill, Ueli, Aaron Woods and Blake Briley at hooker. On the bench, Connor Tracy, Aidan Tolman, Jack Williams and Billy McGolius. Reserves, Brian Trindle, Nene McDonald, Andrew Fafita and Franklin Pele. Coached by John Morris. Match officials, referee Adam G. Touch judges, Peter Goff and Nick Beashall. And Steve Chitty's in the bunker. Head-to-head between two teams. Roosters 61, Sharks 34 with a 1 draw. At the SCG, Roosters the advantage 3-1. Last 10 encounters 5 all between the two teams. Biggest win by the Cronulla over the Roosters, by the Sharks over the Roosters. And in 1991 when they won 48-14 at Shark Park. Roosters' biggest win over the Sharks over in 2013 when they won 40-0 at Allianz Stadium. Angus Crichton will remember for his 100th game this weekend. Congrats to him. And Brett Morris scores a try this weekend. He'll rack up 700 points. And Cronulla will run out for their 1300th game in their history this weekend. Excuse me. Right, next game. Tigers and the Cowboys Sunday at Leichhardt. Okay, fullback Dane Laurie. On the wings, Dane Alphaluma and Tommy Salau. The centres, James Robertson, Moses Sembai. The halves, Adam Dewey and Luke Brooks. Lock forward, Alex Twal. Second rowers, Luke Garner and Luciano Lua. The front row is Zane Musgrave and James Samo. Jake Little at 9. On the bench, Michael Cheekham, Thomas O'Kaley, Stefano Hatukamanu, and Jonathan Hangawi. The reserves, Alex Seyfarth, Joseph Leilua, Jake Simpkin, and Tuki Simpkins. Coach Michael Maguire. Cowboys team at fullback, Valentine Holmes. On the wings, Kyle Felton, Murray Tuilagi. The centres, Hamiso Tabai Fido, and Connolly Leilmore. The halves, Scott Drinkwater and Ben Hampton. Lock forward, Jason Tamalolo. Second rowers, Shane Wright and Ben Condon. Front rowers, Francis Molo and John McLean. And Reece Robson at hooker. On the bench, Jake Granville, Connor Hess, Josh Maguire, Lachlan Burr. Reserves, these are Masters, Ruben Cotter, Corey Jensen and Jake Clifford. Coach Todd Payton. Match officials, referee Matt Chicken. Touch judges, Matt Norton and Ziggy Preziglaska Adamski. And Alan Shaw's in the bunker. Head to head, Tigers 22. Cowboys 16 the 1 draw. At Leichhardt Oval, 9 matches played. Tigers 8, Cowboys 1. Last 10 encounters, Tigers won 7 of the last 10 over the Cowboys. Excuse me. Tigers' biggest win over the Cowboys, happened twice. 2005 in the qualifying final, the Tigers won 50-6 at Stadium Australia. And 2007, the Tigers beat the Cowboys 54-10 at Leichhardt Oval. Cowboys biggest win over the Tigers, and in 2014, Cowboys win 64-6 at 1300 Smiles Stadium. And milestones this weekend, the Cowboys just need 15 points this weekend to rack up 13,000 points in their history. Alright, next game, we've got the last game of the round, which is the Eels and the Dragons. Let's look at the Eels team. Fullback Clint Gufferson. On the wings, Mike Acevo and Blake Ferguson. The centres, Tom Obachek and Matsurata Nakore. The halves, Dylan Brown and Mitch Moses. At lock forwards, Nathan Brown. Second row is Sean Lane, Ryan Madison. The front rowers, Reedy and Campbell Gillan, Junior Paulo, Reed Marnie hooker. On the bench, Oregon Kafusi, Isaiah Papali'i, Will Smith and Bryce Cartwright. Excuse me. Reserves, Ray Stone, Hayes Dunster, Keegan Grave, and John Rankin. Coached by Brett Arthur. Dragons team, at fullback, Matt Duffy. On the wings, Cuddy Ramsey and Michaeli Revelara. The centres, Jack Bird and Zach Lomax. The halves, Corey Norman and Clune. Lock forward, Tyrell Faemo, Josh Kerr and Tarek Sims. Front rowers, Blake Lowry and Paul Vaughan. Andrew McCulloch at 9. On the bench, Pfizer Famasili, Trent Merrin, Daniel Alvaro, Brian Williami. And the reserves, Jackson Ford, Kate Ellis, John Pereira, Max Fagai, Coach Anthony Griffin. Match officials, referees, Grant Atkins. Touch judges, Dave Munro and Phil Henderson. Excuse me. And Henry Penrose in the bunker. Head to head between the two teams. Para managed 20. St George 16, the 2 draws. And Bankwest Stadium, it's 1-1. And Parramatta won 8 of the last 10 against the Dragons. Biggest ever wins between the two teams. Dragons biggest win over the Eels happened in 2009 when they beat them 37-0 at Cogra. That was around 26 because they now had the next week. Parramatta won, and that was that magnificent 2009 run they had up until the grand final. And Parramatta's biggest wins happened twice. 2014, Parramatta won 36-0, and 2018, Parramatta won 40-4 at Stadium Australia. Now, Sean Lane rose to 100th game this weekend. Now, Parramatta kicked 4 goals this weekend. They'll go past 5,300 goals. Daniel Alvaro ran for his 100th game. And Trent Merrin ran out for his 150th as a Dragon this weekend. Alright, now going to the state leagues for this weekend. First of all, we're going to New South Wales Cup match this weekend. Friday, we've got the Panthers against the Raiders. At Penrith Stadium will be the Ken Razor before the big match. Before the first go match. And Sunday matches as well. Eels taking the Dragons, which will be all 3 grades 1 Nat 1 at the Bankwest Stadium. And Sunday like it over the Magpies and the Mounties, which 3 grades will be playing in. Now, of the West Tigers. And on Sunday North Sydney over the Frank Hyde Shield between the Bears and the Jets. And the Blacktown Workers Seagulls and Newcastle Knights will wrap up the round on Sunday at HE Labour Fields. And South Sydney Rabbitohs at the bye. Jersey Flag. Right here. Saturday we've got the Manly Seagulls against the Victoria Thunderbolts. Sunday we've got the West Tigers and Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. And also on Sunday it's the Eels and the Roosters meet. And the Sharks, Panthers, Rabbitohs and Dragons at the bye. We're at Queensland Cup competition. Intra-Super Cup competition. Sunshine Coast Falcons will take on Ipswich on Saturday. Tweed Seagulls take on South Logan. Magpies. North Devils take on Townsville Blackhawks. Redcliffe Dolphins take on the Central Queensland Capras. Northern Pride take on Wynnum Manly Seagulls. Mackay Cutters take on PNG Hunters. And Brisbane Tigers take on the Burleigh Bears. So that's the state leagues this weekend. Now, rugby league. Now going to AFL. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Okay, that's it this week. South and Brisbane. I've gone to Rabbitohs, good form last week. Warriors and Manly. Manly struggling this year. I've gone the Warriors. Penrith Canberra. Now in Penrith, so to go to Panthers. Titans and Knights. Knights have injuries, so I've gone the Titans. Bulldogs and Melbourne. Probably the easiest tip to choose this weekend. I've gone with Melbourne. Roosters and Sharks. I've gone Roosters. Tigers and Cowboys. I've gone Tigers. And Eels and Dragons. I've gone the Eels. Now moving on to AFL. Right. Tomorrow night's clash at the SCG between the Swans and the Bombers. The Swans, they've been a surprise tackle of this season. Bloody easy young players they are this season. 3-0 to start the year. Very good impressive performance last Saturday, which I was at against Richmond. And Essendon, they shocked everyone last week by beating St Kilda by a huge margin last week. In this game, I've got the Swans because they're at home and Buddy Franklin's due back. This one, the sides will be named tonight at 6:20. Alright, Friday night at Adelaide Oval is Poilane and Richmond. Both teams going for losses last week. They're hoping to bounce back this week. This was tough to choose. Now, Richmond should get back to Hooley back, but they've lost Dion Preston and McIntosh to injuries. And still no Nick Lawson. I've gone Port in this one. Western Bulldogs and Brisbane Lions on Saturday at Mars Stadium. Now, the Brisbane Lions, what a great win it was last week in the Western Bulldogs. Josh Bruce kicking 10 goals last week in that win. And I'm going to Western Bulldogs. They're on fire this season, the Doggies. Alright, next game, St Kilda and West Coast Eagles. St Kilda were very poor last week. The last couple of weeks were pathetic, I reckon. West Coast Eagles, 2-1. Both their wins at home. I'm still going to go to the Eagles. Alright, next game is the Suns and it's Gold Coast Suns and Carlton. This next play at Metricon Stadium on Saturday night. Now, flip the coin this one. Gold Coast have injuries and Carlton, it's not okay. Now, I've gone with the Blues this one due to the Suns having injuries. And next game is Collingwood GWS. Collingwood lost in the last few seconds last week against the Lions. And the Giants, they started 3-0, 0-3. Giants have injuries, so I've gone the Pies, this one. Next game is North Melbourne Adelaide. North Melbourne are sitting dead last in the ladder. 0-3 start. And they copped a thrash in the hands of the Western Bulldogs last week. And the Crows, they've been no surprise taker this year. Staying 2-1. Tex Walker's on fire. Kicked 5 or more goals in the first 3 matches. I reckon he's on track to win the Coleman this year. So I've gone the Crows this one. Over another big performance on the Big Texan. And Melbourne and Geelong. No flip to the coin game. Now, I would go Geelong if they did have Dangerfield in their team. This is a tough one to choose. Melbourne have started 3-0. Now, if Melbourne win this weekend, against Geelong. So the first time since 1994 they won the opening 4 games. Sorry about that. Back then when they had Jimmy Steins as ruck. When they had Gary Lyon and David Neitz as well in their team. This game we're going Geelong. It was hard to choose. And the last game is between Fremantle and Hawthorn, which we played at Optus Stadium on Sunday twilight match. They were tough one to choose. I've got the Dockers because he's in Perth and they're getting that fight back from injury. Right, that's AFL done. Right, next going to go to state leagues. First match between Sandford matches this weekend. Now, actually, we'll do a best and fairest of the Sandford this year. I have them named the Bernie Smith Medal, the first ever South Australian player to win a Brownlow medal. Matches this weekend: Port Adelaide taking on Central Districts, North Adelaide taking on South Adelaide, Sturt taking on Norwood, Glenelg taking on Woodville West Torrens, and West Adelaide taking on Adelaide. In the waffle, East Fremantle against Subiaco, East Perth against Bill Thunder, Claremont against South Fremantle, West Perth taking on West Coast, and Perth against Swan Districts. In the Tasmanian State League, Glenhawkie take on Clarence, Kingborough Tigers take on Lauderdale, and North Launceston take on North Hobart, and Launceston at Dubai. In the NAB League, Northern Lights take on Central End Dragons, Tasmania take on Calder Cannons, Eastern Rangers take on Oakley Chargers, Bendigo Pioneers against Gippsland, Greater Western Victoria Rebels take on the Dandenong Stingrays, Geelong Falcons against the Murray Bush Rangers, and the Western Jets at Dubai. Right, AFLW preliminary finals this weekend. Winner of these 2 matches will go to the grand final. Now, announced today the potential venues for the grand final we've played at either Adelaide Oval, the Gabba, or the MCG. Now, I'm going for the non-Victorian grand final this one. I'm going for Adelaide to beat Melbourne and Brisbane to beat Collingwood. Alright, that's going to be enough there, guys. Right, we'll have a show Monday, but starting on April 18th, I'll have a Sunday show after the footy, and Wednesday shows we may permanent. Alright, bye for now.